Right now, Canadians are leaving the country at numbers we haven't seen in decades. Well, we all know why. And the people I talk to every week, well, they're sitting on $800,000, $1 million, sometimes up to $2 million in Toronto home equity. They're all asking the same question. Where do you actually go? So I just spent a week here in St. Maarten. I arrived by sailboat. That's a whole other crazy story. And I want to show you exactly what Toronto home equity buys you here, because honestly, the numbers surprised even me. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what it costs you to buy property here, what the rules are for Canadians, yeah, there's some rules, and what the tax picture looks like, and whether you can actually generate income from a place like this. Real numbers, not brochure numbers. First thing to understand about St. Maarten, and this matters for everything that follows. This island is literally two countries. The southern half is Dutch, that's St. Maarten, and it's an autonomous country with the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The northern half is French, St. Maarten, and it's actually part of France, which means it's part of the European Union. There's actually a very funny story as to how they figured out the boundary, and it involves alcohol. So why does this matter to you? Because the rules for buying, the taxes, and the lifestyle are completely different depending on which side of the road you're on, and most people have no idea. On the Dutch side, which is where most of the international buyers end up, foreigners can purchase property with no restrictions. You don't need residency, you don't need a local partner, which is good. You just wire the money, you hire a notary, and you own the property. I'm oversimplifying it, but that's basically it. So what does it cost? So I spent time this week actually looking at some of the properties on the market. For a two-bedroom condo with ocean view, you're looking at roughly $350,000 to $650,000, and that's in US currency. A small villa, private pool, short walk to the beach, that's going to start off at around $650,000 US, and it goes up from there. Larger waterfront properties, well, now you're into the $1.2 to $2 million range. Now compare that to what the same equity or value buys you in Canada or Toronto. I'll let you do the math. I mean, an average property, detached home in Toronto is still around $1.5 million. And this looks a lot nicer. Here's where it really gets interesting, and this is the part that not a lot of people talk about. The Dutch side of St. Maarten's has no capital gains tax, no inheritance tax, and if you're a non-resident property owner, guess what? There's no income tax on rental revenue. Yes, that's you Airbnb lovers out there. You pay a property transfer tax when you buy, which is about 4%, and an annual land tax that is really negligible to what you're going to be paying in Toronto or elsewhere in Canada. I'm not a tax lawyer, and you need to speak with one before you make any move. I'm just here to guide you. But the structure here is genuinely different from what we've been beaten to succumb to in Canada. Here, it's much more beneficial for you. So, looking at any property, you're obviously going to ask yourself, can you cash flow it? And the answer is yes, but I want to be straight about what that's going to look like. So, St. Maarten draws 2.5 million visitors a year. That's a lot. And the peak season runs, of course, through December through April, and that's when Canadians are desperate to escape from a brutal pile of snow and nasty cold temperatures. A well-located two-bedroom condo here in peak season, that's going to generate $2,500 to $4,000 US per week for you on platforms like Airbnb and VRBO. In the off-season, you're still going to make money as well. And don't forget, you're likely going to have to hire a property manager, and they're going to take 15 to 20% of revenue unless you do it yourself. So look, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's a great way to offset carrying costs and still make some money. And for a lot of people, that changes the math entirely. And don't forget, you don't have any of the bureaucratic registration, short-term rental crap that we have in Canada. That's not really happening here. And that's also a massive benefit. Might get a little bit of trouble for this next comment, but it's because I'm Dutch, so I'm partial to things that are Dutch. So the French side operates under different rules, and it's a little more complex for foreign buyers. Most Canadians really end up here on the Dutch side anyways, and honestly, I find it provides a more dynamic lifestyle and better infrastructure and utility system, everything. So I apologize to my French friends, and yes, if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much. So I want to say something that I don't think gets said enough in this kind of a video. The people I talk to who are sitting on significant equity, they've worked for 30, 35, 40 years, and they've done everything right. And somehow, the idea of actually using that money to change their life, to live somewhere else, to pursue another dream, another chapter, it feels selfish, risky, like they need somebody else's permission. Sometimes you get just locked into a lifestyle and that comfort level keeps you there. You don't need permission. The question isn't whether you can afford to do something like this. For a lot of you watching this, you absolutely can. The question is whether you're willing to believe that you've actually earned it. So I sailed here from Minneapolis on a friend's boat, and trust me, that's not the best way to get here, especially if you don't like sailing. It's a lot easier to fly in, and you don't need to be a millionaire. But I do believe in doing math and being honest about what's real, and then making a decision based on facts, not fear. And if this is something you're afraid to do, maybe you should look at that as well, because fear leads to growth. So maybe I gave you something to think about, and if so, you might know of somebody else who would like to hear it as well, so feel free to share it. And if you want to keep following the journey with me, real numbers, real places, honest conversations about what your next chapter and lifestyle might look like, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more coming. My name is David Johans, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for joining me, and now I'm going to have a coffee.